Okay, so now we're recording. So welcome everyone to our May 27th Mentoring Stewards call. It's nice to see so many beautiful faces. So good morning. It's nice to see the early bird from Hawaii. Hello, Marion. And we have a few guests today. And before we do the attunement, Shelley, I'm going to turn it over to you to do the attunement. Do you want to introduce our guests and then do the attunement?
Okay. Good, we're recording. Oh, so welcome everyone. So many beautiful faces. Welcome to our Mentoring Steward Community Coherence Call. And let me just see who I'm seeing here. Imani, who's been joining us every day from the fire ceremony, and she's been inside of the Resonance Lounge and bringing her beautiful voice and instruments, is here today with us. Thank you. Welcome. And Jerry Littlejohn, who is a friend of Imani's, who's been with us in the fire and in the expanding, fanning the fire inside of the Resonance Lounge, and been showing up. So basically, I invited people who've been coming daily into the fire ceremony and really feeling this deepening of resonance in come and experience this Mentoring Stewards call. So I think that's who I see. And Anita, I don't know if we've seen yet. She just popped in. Yay, we love you. And Marion, of course, who's been here over the years as one of our steadfast, beautiful expressions of living for the good of the whole. So I think that's it for right now. And Eva, who's been with us, who just offered her first offering on Monday. So hopefully we'll get to hear a little more about that. So so thank you. So for those who are entering this field with us, we always start with a resonance attunement. And why do we do that? Because it allows us to just drop in to this consciousness of being mentored by the field itself. And we're coming here co-mentoring each other, sharing our wisdom, weaving our love, expanding. I love what Jose said this morning. He said there is a transmutation from having being in the experience of knowledge to being an expression of our wisdom. And that's really when we're coming here in the morning once a week, we're coming into that space of offering ourselves in service as whole beings, living for the good of the whole and cultivating this whole worldview. That's who we be. That's what we're doing. That is the essence of the connection field, to really, really build, add our, compost and fertilize the field with this resonance. So thank you everyone for coming, and we will just invite us to take a moment, and if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, if not a problem, and simply allowing ourselves to let go of mass consciousness, and through our breath just opening that inhale and feeling this sensation of light, and that bigger yes. Someone was coming in yesterday going, I just want more, I want experience. So it's through the breath, the opening of the breath, and that letting go of the exhale, which allows for this spaciousness and dropping into this, really this womb wisdom, this heart of hearts. And a beautiful place to begin is just with gratitude for this growing communion of hearts, growing communion of vibrational, raising our consciousness together as a collective. And allowing ourselves to drop deeper into this liminal space where we can be informed as a collective by the field itself. And from this place, there's less and less that needs to be said. It's this, coming in, building this field of coherence is this innate respect and love and honor for evolution as it's unfolding. We're just breathing into that, this effulgent field, this superorganism that we're being enveloped by together. And really resting, allowing ourselves to rest in this liquidous field, this movement, this vibration. And as we take the next breath, just noticing the sense of belonging to the whole. And opening to a heightened sensitivity to being in the creation field itself, opening to the wisdom, opening to and inviting in any information for the highest good of the whole. And very gently bringing our consciousness back to the whole, back to this beautiful field, looking at this tapestry of beautiful beings in this genuine practice and pathway of wholeness. And what is that like, and how do we do it together? That's why we come here. So with that, I pass the talking stick back to you, Julie. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
And welcome to all of those who tuned in during that attunement. Welcome. At some point, I want to invite everybody to come on camera and we'll take a picture because this is so beautiful. And I always like to update our Mentoring Stewards picture on the website. And so thank you for being here. I just want to speak to that superorganism that Shelley brought forward. Thank you for popping on in your cameras. And as leaders and as mentors of this whole worldview, as mentors of this, we always say the ethos of wholeness, creating whole systems health on the planet, living for the good of the whole. As mentors of that, I want to just drop this in because I think it's an important element. So I'm going to drop this in, then we're going to talk about World Unity Week. We're going to talk a little bit more about the connection field. Then we're going to break out and have some juicy, delicious conversation with a fun topic that we're going to drop into the field. So Shelley mentioned the superorganism. And as a leader, as a mentor, I'm sure you're aware of so many different groups and organizations that talk about creating a movement. We're creating a movement. I even have a woman that I know, a program that I know, it's about how they eat, and they're creating the movement for. And without judgment of that, I just want to drop this in because you probably have never heard us say, we are creating a movement for a whole worldview. We are creating a movement for living for the good of the whole. We are creating a movement for wholeness. You probably have never heard that out of anyone's mouth. Our advisory council who's here, and Shelley and I, you've probably never heard that. And early on in our inception with our advisory councils, Charles Eisenstein said something really important to me that will never go away. He said, we don't create a movement. The movement creates us. Yeah. And when he said that, it's like, of course, yeah, I'm hearing some cheers and some, yeah, like, let's cheer for that. We don't create the movement, you guys. We're showing up as instruments of the universe. And so when Shelley said that, about creating the or that we are a superorganism. We're not even creating the superorganism. We're listening to the superorganism of creation, to the superorganism of the one planetary body that we are, and we're responding. And we're coming into form. And what's really cool is we didn't create the connection field. We named it. And then we started listening, and it started to create itself. And all of you are a beautiful part of that, of listening and seeing that impulse that's coming through you and offering your gifts and your expression into the connection field. So thank you for that. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. And thank you for musing in this place of really listening as that superorganism wants to be expressed through you and as us together. So I just wanted to drop that in, because more and more, and some of my favorite people on the planet have said, we're creating a movement. And I'll just say, well, you know, we're responding as the movement's moving us. The movement is literally moving us. And so many people are now, especially with COVID, it's time to be the movement of movements. It's time to and it's like, yeah, we're responding, we're showing up, we're mentoring that essence and that impulse, and we're bringing it to life, but we're not creating anything. There's a creative source much larger than us that's creating us through this. So just wanted to drop that in. And with that, I'm going to mention World Unity Week is coming right up in June. And we've had this conversation here before. I just want to remind you, if you would think about the week of solstice, that June 20th, and all of your offerings, and we'll send out a reminder again, and I know Shelley's updating the host letter for all of us, is to just think about that week in terms of the expression of unity and pull those threads through your offerings. So if you're hosting the Resonant Lounge, maybe drop in a beautiful anything, poetry, writing, artwork, just drop in that theme of unity that week. If you're doing a special offering, we're all having different thematic special offerings, perhaps bring that through so that there's just a presence of unity. Even if it doesn't fit where you're at, it's okay. We're just presencing that we're in support of Global Unity Week. And I'm going to, Shelley, if you want to expand on that, and then you can take over and talk about the connection field. And you have several requests too. So if you want to expand on the World Unity Week, or if you want to expand on the we're not creating a movement, the movement's creating us, I'm complete.
Let's just take a breath with that. I guess, first of all, I just feel like this sense of unity is being infused in everything we're doing anyway. And just as we hold here that there is no separation, that what is coming forth, be it Unity Week, that this is what we're doing here. So there's nothing more right now to say about Unity Week. And as far as the hosting doc, I know everyone's waiting for it, and I'll commit to having it done tonight. So it will, for those of you that are waiting for that and who are coming in and will start to be hosting, that document is really important, because it's what keeps us unified in some way, because the connection field, as Julie's been describing it, is, and I just keep saying this, it's not a thing, it's an experience. And it's experience of embodying this sense of love in a way that I think many of us, it's just an expanded expression of that. So the connection field, the reason we come here, and people are still coming and asking to host, and what do you think? Do you think, how would this be received? And so for me, the understanding is that we're coming together in resonance, which is the voice of this superorganism, which is the fertile field for people to come in and experience a sense of belonging, like I was sharing yesterday inside of, it was actually one of the special offerings. And someone was actually fine, like she had been coming in little bit and little bit, and all of a sudden something popped, and she started to experience her relationship with the resonant field, and therefore just just didn't know where to go with it, but wanted more. So in that way, that's really we're coming together in resonance. So with that said, I mean, there's really nothing more to say about it. I mean, everybody here has been experiencing it. And the only thing I want to bring in is obviously everyone's been noticing, you know, it's a lot. The connection field is just growing, and it's huge. And all of you are participating. And the bottom line is I'm calling out for help. And I've been I've been expressing that, but right now, finally what cohered was, and thank you, Sharon Hardy, who's been working with me to help me really understand the needs of, in order to continue and create a sustainable, but even more than sustainable, a regenerative expression. And Julie and I were talking, so we'll go a little further, that really you and each of your communities can start to create, you know, this connection field as a local hub in your communities. And that's just the, you know, we're listening for how the field itself wants to self-organize through you and as you and through this field. So all I really wanted to bring in was that I am looking for at least 7 people to be in the connection field team. And starting with the Resonance Council, you know, because they're the ones that really are supporting this, what is evolving as resonant leadership, and will eventually evolve into what we'll be calling the global transition team. But it's how to hold the field, and those people will be helping me to take a look at the whole, and even to the point of maybe taking a day, 7 days a week, one person a day that would be the sort of the overseer of what's going on, so that it's not all me, because it's right now it's been all me, and I'm trying to find the balance in my life, so the expression can stay pure. And I think this is the real key to who each one of you are, is that, you know, that each one of you have a pure expression of that love, and it comes through in a particular way. And so as the connection field, this organism keeps growing, we want to make sure that it keeps its purity, because what we've all seen is there's amazing organizations and nonprofits and summits and conferences and all kinds of things. But what's happening here, as each one of you been experiencing, and if you're holding space in the Resonance Lounge, we are going to continue to ask, you know, that this toroidal field is allowed to keep its purest expression, so that the special offerings are your particular focus. But inside of that Resonance Lounge is a non-thematic expression where anyone can come in. I mean, there was something that happened the other day where someone came in with a lot of grief and a lot of upset, and you need to be able to hold that and hold that resonance. So that's what we're developing here, is this, you know, this pathway and a practice of heart resonance. It's why this thing is working the way it's working, and why it's being as effulgent as it is. So if you know that being a part of that team is you, and I'm going to specifically say to the Resonant Council, please, you know, we will be meeting next week and next Monday, so we'll talk about that. But you know, really come in and step forward a little bit more, and really help this, you know, this connection field to keep growing and being regenerative for everybody. And with that, I'll just end with, I can't say enough how beautifully everyone is hosting the Resonance Lounge, and your special offerings. They've been incredible. And now the next phase, and I think Julie will come into this, and you know, we'll break out into breakout groups right now, but is that we need to go wide now. So yes, a few people will be coming in, but I've kind of tried to slow it down, or the field itself is slowing it down enough, so that we want you to be sharing, having a template that you can share out with your communities with your friends, with your family, even family members, so they can find their way in comfortably and easily, and begin to offer them the opportunity that each one of you are having. So I'll end it with that and pass it back to you, Julie. And Julie, you have to make me a host if you want me to do the breakout groups.
That's done. Shelley, do you want to expand on maybe some of the specific pieces that you need? We have a plethora of skills and expertise here, and I know a lot of it's administrative, a lot of it's organizational, a lot of it's scheduling, but a lot of it's also just being the super host of the day that's there in case there's anything going on. Do you want to just maybe be a little more specific?
All right. I mean, specifically, obviously, we need some people to host. There are certain offerings that some of the native offerings that need a host. We need people to learn Facebook Live. That's obvious. I've already been putting that out. But Sharon, boy, do I wish I had your doc in front of me. The one we're working on. The calendar. You know, I need help. I mean, in order to get a public calendar up, we have to be able to input the data into, all of the descriptions in. Need help with that. Need help with working the calendar because it's a huge responsibility. Sharon, can you pop in? Can you remember? Yeah, like that. You can take yourself off mute if you want. Yeah, and then just okay. Also, sort of raising the bar of, I'm talking to every single person that's coming into to help them feel into the resonant field, because many people don't understand that. All they know is, oh, I have something I want to host. So so creating, I want to work with one or two people who we can come on the same page. And so as people come in and host and they're new, they can be oriented, which brings me to the point of John has offered to create an orientation hour. And we have to look at where that's going to go, but that people are funneled into that orientation hour, and he and myself and whoever those other one or two people are can help, really articulate and help someone to understand what is good of the whole, what is the connection field, and what is resonance, really? What's the difference? What is that unique voice and expression of the field? So hopefully I did justice to that, and I don't see Sharon, but.
Hey, I'm here, Shirley. I was just calling up the document. And I think you captured a few of them, some of the things that we also captured, responding to email that comes in. So having somebody that is just on point for that and understands what they can answer and what someone else could do. So that administrative role, those biweekly digests, creating those and maintaining updated, linking to the website. So there's website updating. So those are those kind of administrative tasks. The Facebook pages as well. So all of that kind of needs to be synchronized so that, and you wanted to add video to those things. You talked about creating blogs, the hosting documents, and you talked about the calendar.
Yeah, thank you. So just take a breath with that. And the beauty is right now I'm doing it for Julie and I are doing it all. And so we invite you to just jump in. If you're great and you love social media, we'll set up a call, but definitely those 7 people, that's the first step to help with those be a super host for those days.
Yeah, Shelley, can I just clarify one thing that you clarified for me the other day? The difference between the Resonant Lounge, the connection field, the Resonant Lounge, and the special offerings. So I'm not sure if everybody's clear about that, but it helped me when you said kind of the special offerings are named and they have a theme to them and someone is offering that specifically. The resonant field is, or the connection field is the whole thing. But the resident lounge is specifically mostly from 12 to 5 Eastern time. And that's where people are coming in and there is no agenda. It's a deep listening field. And that's what when you're talking about someone to hold that, but also some of the special programs if they're holding a day. So that the resident field lounge is really where that piece of the connection field where we're just being present for whoever shows up and holding the field and bringing them into that and holding that. So I hopefully that helps a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Shelley, maybe you could just show us the calendar again so people see it visually what Sharon's talking about. And then let's take 5 minutes and see if there's any questions or comments just from everyone about the connection field here before we do our breakouts.
Okay, so this is actually a really good idea. And I think Jerry just left, but I'll be speaking to her. So I think many of you have seen this, but probably some people haven't. So this is sort of the sneak peek insider's view of what's being managed every single day. And this is all done on Eastern time. And what you're seeing is the orange is some of the indigenous offerings with starting, and pretty much we start with the Mayan ceremony every single morning, which really sets the field. It's incredible. I mean, this is the week of the jaguar, and it's so perfect, stepping into your sacred authority, and Jose is a Mayan timekeeper. And so we're receiving information literally from the field, from the future into the present in some ways, and then holding the resonance and building the fire, fanning the fire, bringing our prayers and our intentions into the fire. So you're welcome to join us every day. And then from there, then it's beautiful. Then it's doing that enfolding process, moving back to that point of singularity with the heart coherence with Julie Down. And I don't think she's on with us right now, but she's there every morning. And then moving across the board is really begins our Global Heart Resonance weekly practice of how do you track the field? How do we weave this expression? And how do we learn how to trust our conciseness, literally, that we don't have to keep telling stories? Or, how do we listen to the field and just be a pure expression of the field? And so anyway, across the board, the Hoop of Many Hoops is just a beautiful integration and weaving of being a sphere of wholeness and creating that beautiful sacred geometry of the flower of life, the seed of life, the flower of life, and then the fruit of life, becoming that. So we're on that call. And then the blue is the Resonance Lounge. And we might be shifting this up a little bit. We have to, we came up with an idea of even sending out a survey to each one of you. How is it for you? What are you experiencing? What do you feel like, just some constructive responses. And then all the deep purple are the special offerings. And you can see it's going now. And on Wednesday and Thursday, I really highlight, we're beginning to expand out into East European time. So those two events are, or offerings are a beautiful way to start your day. And then you can see we're filling in, all the white spaces are still open. I've been talking to someone in Australia. They're looking at some of, coming in and weaving with us and collaborating with us, co-creating with us. And then pretty much right now it's going all the way till midnight or 1:30. So this is the way the calendar, and so the idea is that we get this calendar, if I click on these, you won't see any of the descriptions in there. So we need the descriptions in there, and so that it can become a public calendar, which would make it so easy for people to click on instead of going through the digest, which is gorgeous, and we invite your expressions into the digest. So yeah, having someone help coordinate that calendar and help fill it, know how to talk to someone about it, and would be really helpful. Thank you. So yeah, I guess we open it up just for 5 minutes, and then we'll break out into groups. Yeah. So if anyone just open to anyone, just ask a question. Less about sharing, your wonder and your fascination and your love, but if there's any real questions here that need to be answered, so we all can be on the same page together.
I'd like to send out a reminder, or maybe if this is the first time that you're hearing it, because we are growing and we're so gorgeous, I'm asking for each one of you to think of how you want to say who you are in the world, and send me 200 words and your picture so that we can put it on the beautiful website under Mentoring Stewards. You are Mentoring Stewards, so we want people to know who you are and links to how people can reach you and what you do or who you be or anything that you want to say. But please, this is a work in progress, and right now Shelley and I need to work on, or I need to work on how to have my email be support@goodofthewhole. Right now, no.
Okay, let me jump in here. So Linda, one thing added is we want your links to your website or any links that you feel you would want people to connect to. So add that to your bio.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, okay, but also Linda, you're going to have your own email, and so that's another conversation. For the advisory council is having their own emails for Good of the Whole, but right now send it to support@goodofthewhole.
Okay, so it won't come to me, it'll come directly to support@goodofthewhole.
Support@goodofthewhole.
Take that away from you and
right. Support@goodofthewhole.org. Let's just clarify that. Now everything is .org. There's no more .com. So that's a good thing for everybody to know here. So if you have any questions after this, or you want to speak to myself or Linda or any of the advisory council, they'll be getting their own emails, but for right now, support@goodofthewhole.org. And if you're sending people to goodofthewhole.org.
However, goodofthewhole.com will still come through if you forget. We're just trying to unify that expression as .org. John.
So, all you beautiful people, thank you for being part of this. We will be having an hour-long orientation. One of the real privileges, honors, and responsibilities as we come in as mentoring stewards is to be a host during this Connection Lounge. And Julie said it perfectly this morning, to know the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And as host, it's holding the field of the wisdom that's coming through quite often. And we all, us as mentoring stewards, all have unique knowledge that we want to bring through. And yet as host, it's not the knowledge, because as host, you will see to move into knowledge sometimes takes us away from the wisdom that's coming through. So our job as hosts is to hold the field in the wisdom that's coming through. And sometimes when it gets off into our individual knowledges, it's the host's responsibility. And as we can feel here in the energy field, is to allow the heart-centered wisdom to prevail and allow the knowledge to dissolve a little bit into the wisdom. And so we're going to have an orientation on this for everybody to host, because it's the most beautiful part and like I said, a privilege, honor to be a host of this field that's coming through in such a fullness. So as we're thinking about everyone that speaks, are they speaking just from their knowledge base, or can you feel the heart wisdom coming through from the field? That's all I really have to say right now, and we'll go into that deeper, but I just feel like it's such an important part as we speak. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Anything else for the connection field? Any other? Yes, Elizabeth.
Thank you, John, for bringing that up. That distinction was actually brought forth with Jose in his talk this morning in the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And the distinction he made is that we each hold unique knowledge. We each hold unique gifts. The wisdom is all of us and what all of us bring to it. And that's what creates the wisdom. And that being said, I'm feeling very called to kind of look at the gaps in this connection field, especially for Unity Week, and you know, gaining more wisdom from Africa, from Asia, from and I'm currently working in Africa and have a man that I'm cultivating to come in as a mentoring steward, and hope that I can get a special offering from him. John pretty much answered my question, I think, in that there'll be an orientation. But my original question was how do we vet and honor and incorporate mentoring stewards that might not quite have the language that we've all kind of come into with the connection field in terms of cultivating them as mentoring stewards with an important piece to hold for the whole.
I'm going to just respond to that. Thank you, Elizabeth. And actually, it's a really beautiful. So basically, there are actually two different hosting docs. And for someone that's coming in and bringing a lot of community, and for someone who comes in from a different culture. So I would just say, as a mentoring steward, you're not to vet them and actually allow them to just, that would be a perfect situation that at this point you would come talk, we would set up and we already kind of did, set up a meeting with myself. And as there are others that I'm working with, then we can do that. But right now it's very important to mentoring stewards are not, as a mentoring steward, you do not vet. Just bring them your love, show them your enthusiasm, and then bring them here. And that's a perfect example of an example like Chief Phil Lane, or someone who's coming in with a large community. Right now, if it has to do with the connection field, just come here and we'll set something up.
So we have done that, and wondering what you want the next step to be with regards to that.
So the next step would be they would receive the hosting doc. I mean, they would receive the hosting doc, a resonance doc, and like a formal, really simple application, like many of you have already seen, where they come in and what's the title, what's the description, photograph, and then we slot them in. We would get on again and look at the calendar.
Okay.
Hopefully there'll be other people other than myself right now, but right now that would be, yeah. And we invite that for sure.
Thank you.
Just want to add, Shelley, that's when we were looking at the various tasks that we really want to try to get volunteers for. Part of it was to free you and Julie up so that you could be vetting people, you could be connecting to other organizations, really working on the expansion part of it, but having a structure that this could then drop into, with a lot of these day-to-day management tasks getting handled by a team.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Anything else for the connection field? Amani.
I have a question just to help educate me. Can I see a show of hands of who's advisory council and who's not?
There are 5 of us.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Anything else for the connection field before we do a breakout? A lovely breakout. We'll do about 20 minutes in the breakout and then come back and share. I think we're good.
Thank you, everyone, for being patient with this unfolding. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, with Elizabeth talking about Africa and Asia, that I'll be speaking with someone from Korea real soon. So it'll be really fun to get that whole inclusive piece going. So thank you for that reminder, Elizabeth. I think it's a beautiful priority of all of us. So breakouts are intended for us to really meet each other here, like really get to know one another. And our large group is too difficult for everyone to introduce themselves and have that dialogue. And so we really want to facilitate that breakout every time we come together so that we're really mixing it up. It's random. We're not putting you in a group with somebody, but to really get to feel the essence of who's with you and how we're on this mentoring journey together, how we're co-mentoring one another, being co-mentored from the field, and what's emerging for us in our lives, in our work, in our vocational expression. And so saying that, here's the topic of today that I want to invite us into. I want you to, let's just do this together. Just close your eyes for a second. Be with me. I want you to imagine the childlike spark of creativity within you. Where is that childlike spark of creativity, your creative spirit? And how does that meet your enlightened mind, your illuminated beingness in the world? Where does that childlike spark of creativity meet the enlightened mind, that illuminated being of who you are? And with that, the question is then kind of a two-part question. Where does your heart shine? When these two parts of you meet, where does your heart shine and where is your delight? And I've seen some smiles, so I know we like this. Yeah. So as that childlike spark of creativity meets that enlightened mind, where does your heart shine and where's your delight in all of that? And we're just going to open with that. Whatever conversation wants to emerge and evolve from that expression is fine. It might go off on a divergent path, but you're going to be put in a group with someone and get to explore that together. So Shelley.
Okay, and I want to welcome Noreen, who is also a guest here today,
Mm-hmm.
although she's already co-hosting. So, all right, hold on. Okay, so 20 minutes, is that what you said?
Yeah, we're at 15. So let's do about 15 minutes and then we'll come back and kind of share in that bigger. So we're going to go 15. And if we watch the clock, it probably, never mind. Okay, 15. Thanks, Jill.
Oh, wonderful.
Old home week.
Oh,
Sure you didn't plan this. I was just looking and saying, oh, I have to talk with Elizabeth. No box.
Hello, everyone.
Mm.
Hello, Julie.
Hello, John. Hello, beloved Nahid.
Hello, Miss Elizabeth.
Yes, hello, Nahid. I didn't say hello personally to you. You came in later. Okay, I'm stepping back. I'm not leading the circle. So if anybody wants to jump
You
in.
know, I have to say, I am just feeling so much love being exuded. It's almost, I don't have any words. It's beyond words. Just, yeah.
I would almost suggest that we just take a minute and really feel into this field that just formed itself, because the potency of love that is here is immense, and it is making me cry. So I need to. So I just got the kick in the butt to speak. I've been going today since, be the transcriber of delight. There's
Thanks for
somebody that
volunteering, Elizabeth. That's very nice of you. I appreciate that.
So I can be the transcriber, or I can kind of lead, I think, or focalize, we should say, not lead. So I think there's sort of two roles that have been brought up. So
I'll transcribe.
thank you, John. So, so I was saying I've started at 4:30 this morning to get on the World Water Law with Jan and Shelley, that discussion in terms of drafting the law, and Dot Maven was with us, and Wendy, and then did work on the African project that I'm doing, and then got on with Jose and the Mayan fire ceremony, and then it's just like all morning long. And the remarkable thing is that the topics have been the same. These are incredibly diverse groups that are all coming into the field and following this call and responding to the imperative of evolution. And with each group, the topics have been the same. And it really, the topics have been that we're not creating this, we're listening. This is already created and we're just listening. And being able to have that language, like in the case with the World Water Law, something was said and I was able to drop in that reminder, and everybody just suddenly dropped deeper into the field and said yes to that. On the fire ceremony with Jose, he put that reminder in and informed me even deeper. And I was able to come in with my own understanding even deeper as he brought us deeper into that understanding, in terms of really that what we're doing is healing the future. That what we're doing is that we are the future of the future generations. And we are healing their future in these times. And in this great planetary pause, we're getting this opportunity to really be that sacred authority and speak from that place, and knowing that it's not us, it's not our egos speaking to this, that it is the field speaking to this. And learning how to make that our practice. So that's my contribution to the breakout group, and I offer the crystalline bowl of the pool of wonder, as Oriana calls it, held right here in my little pool of wonder.
Uh-huh.
I have to break in real quickly because I have to leave in 5 minutes, so I can't be the transcriber because I have to host the lounge here top of the hour. So
I will transcribe for you.
Okay, great. Yeah, and also, Julie, I just got a message from someone trying to get in. No one's hosting right now, the lounge. So if Go to the Hole is up there, then I can come in and take over and be host.
It's open.
Okay, great.
There were 4 people on and they just left. So yeah.
They just left, yeah.
David was in here.
Okay, good. So since I am going to be leaving here in just a moment, if it's okay with you, I'll come in about my delight and where that comes from, that childlike spark. There are those moments in my life where I experience awe. And awe takes me out of my description, takes me out of my definition, goes beyond my limited capacity to even understand. When I'm in that moment of awe, I feel completely immersed in what we call the resonant field. And it is so delightful because in that moment, it is complete joy. It is totally out of my head. It is beyond my small self that has to even encounter a boundary between me and anything else. And it is the most delightful, exquisite feelings. And I feel like a little baby looking out into the world. You know, when babies come in, their eye, they really can't focus, and all of a sudden the eyes open and there's this big smile that comes on because it's all fresh and brand new. And I just feel complete delight when in that moment of awe, life itself becomes totally brand new and unexplored and no definition put on it. And I find that moment of delight in my heart is what I get when I'm with all of you, when we drop into the resonance that we have here in this connection field. I'm in awe of and amazed by it, and so that's my moment of delight.
Well, I'll take that talking crystal of joy and delight. Yeah, the sense of awe. Really feeling that beyond our imagination, beyond anything that one alone can imagine, that the coming together is the opening to that which is beyond what we can perceive. That's why I called it the inner scopes of being like radio scopes out in the New Mexican desert, this great array and acres, and that each is pointed at the same star, same object in the field, and each perceives it just in their own location, and it's that combined perception that gives the depth of knowledge. And so I feel that what we bring individually is this capacity to wonder, and wonder beyond what one alone. And it is why I call it the pool of wonder, is literally the immersing into the field and really recognizing that it has sensation. It isn't something that we just kind of go, oh, it's talking to me. It is immersing into it, feeling it, becoming more sensate. And what I'm really on about is the nonlinear languaging that we can immerse into and allow it to speak to us in a nonlinear form, like what's beyond our limited capacity of words to understand, and what is it that we can feel as this cymatic texture patterns that water itself is communicating to and through us. So that is my delight, to bring forth this, come on into the pool of wonder and begin to feel it, and that we're communicating with it through it as well, and that we can become more sensate and more exquisite in our communication with each other and with the field and with the world. And I am complete.
I'm actually going to have to jump off and get on another call. So I will be leaving shortly.
I feel that I invite some of you that we can come up with such a abundance in words, even though we say this cannot be described in a linear way. The delight for me started in 2016 when I said, I'm not doing anything, so I'm listening. And in the listening, what you beautiful question, Julie, you ask. That when this is this creative spirit, this playfulness of our essence makes the enlightened mind. That's when I heard that I am here to celebrate. That is because I was just keep asking the question, what is mine? And said, no, you are here to celebrate. And I says, what? And for me, coming from where I come from, celebration coming, singing and dancing. So it's like, it is, and resting in that celebrating, in that moments of awe as a child. And my way of expressing it is really nothing but to share my loving. And the expression of that is just to hold you in my arm and deeply connect with the interior and the interior they made with no masks. And I long to enter that place with, I don't know how I can do it collectively. I mean, the room is filled last time. It's like I watched the video, the recording. I felt I was lost. There was nobody. I was not there. I don't know what happened. But and there was a beauty in it, but then that is not the norm. It's like, say, after I watch it, what happened? I shouldn't have been doing that. It's like, but it's like there was a moment that I lost it. And I would say, for me, the delight in being in that flow is to lose it. And still, I don't give myself permission. I may go there individually with one, but it was just out of the norm that what I did last time. It's like I've been telling myself, look, I should not do that. You know, that's not a place to go. And then that is where I am the delight. I am the awe. I am everything in that moment because I am not. So it's hard to say it, but it's I'm longing to meet each one of you there. So that is my game of delight. Not much words to add today.
when I was a child, I was very interior, and my sister was very exterior, and I would spend hours on projects, little things that I would do, and I got into batiking and began creating art on fabric with batik, and had a friend, and the two of us did this together, and it was such an intense focus. And the delight in being able to create something and I have it here actually. This is one of the things I created at the time. It's a parachute. You see all the colors, and it's my dancing thing. The delight in being able to create that has directly influenced what I do today here with my work as a film and video editor, as a project creator, as a writer. And so that ability to bring inspiration in and translate it, it's like I feel like I'm less of a visionary and more of a vision translator, and being able to bring it in and give it form that people can get it and receive it, even with the words I speak, really trying to make every expression a translation of this greater vision. So thank you for the opportunity to remember that, and remember that creation of myself, and really connect to that child self. So I honor you. I have to get on to my next call, and I'm going to see if I can change the time of this next call so I can stay on.
Oh, that's great.
I hope that was fun.
That was fun. It was fun. It was great.
And just to let you know, Michelle has popped in, and Elizabeth popped out, and I think one other person.
We lost John and Elizabeth. Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, because John went over to the connection.
And Grace.
And Grace.
To her writing class.
Okay.
She did? Okay, well, I may or may not stay here then, because perhaps I have that time wrong too. I'm managing my calendar very well today. Love y'all though, if I pop off.
You probably do.
I love the playfulness of this. Let's just do some sharing, and we have about 5 minutes of sharing, and then we'll bring this to a close. But yeah, what emerged from our little playground here in our small groups?
I can kick that off if you want. Yeah?
Yes, go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just such always, follow your intuition and notice the synchronicities. And to see that, yeah, we're all on the same journey. We have a common vocabulary and understanding, and we're still each at a different spot. And still noticing, though, the joy of what an experienced traveled group that bridged from knowledge to wisdom, because the wisdom was ripe and was shared in each of us. And it's very much around this dance of the two, of the inner spirit, the inner child, and that expansiveness, and how you creating the space in wholeness for it. And as was also mentioned, we're certainly not taught this. And so we've each had to find it. But when you're able to stand in that wholeness, it's all facets of the same crystal, and how it can be a self-feeding loop when you learn to play in the whole, and the whole plays back to you. And it's just creating those conditions, giving yourself permission, making the hard choices, despite what others may say against or
and see who it is, just in case.
And so, yeah, it was just sharing how we're each creating that space and dancing into it.
I would like to follow that with following Gil with that a synopsis of our group, that we were feeling the delight as really bringing our self to that which is the letting go, losing oneself, as Nahid said, bringing that childlike wonder into the joy and, as John called it, awe, that place beyond what one alone can experience. And really knowing that the field that is calling us forth to something greater than, beyond what one alone can imagine, that we have to come together to really reinvent and really open to receiving that which is beyond our individual understanding. It takes the collective knowing of it, that the awareness that, oh, something's there, what is that? And really receiving the non-linear language and allowing that joy to be expressed through and dance and aliveness. And Julie was saying, being surprised by the delight of what is created.
Another group want to jump in?
I'll jump in for our group and just say a couple of things. So we all kind of resonated quite a lot on a few things, and one of them was a childlike feeling of joy in nature, and also Karen was saying when she connects with like-minded people, she sometimes just gets really giddy with excitement, which is a lovely analogy. We talked a lot about nature and also about animals and connection with animals, whether they be pets or the howler monkeys that just go by in Costa Rica. And the other thing that came up was to do with playing with ritual and ceremony, and just letting the creative flow and the creative juices come out when we're just flowing in that ritual and that ceremony rather than following a strict structure. And also one thing that I wrote down that someone said was about the hosting in the connection field, and a feeling of curiosity and excitement, but a little bit of fear, and having to remind themselves to trust that what they have to share is of value. So with that, I am complete.
Beautiful. The next few shares are going to have to be really concise. Go ahead, and Sharon.
Sharon, sure. Well, ditto on the nature. Our whole group was very connected with nature and joy. Experience, express, evoke, experience again, following the threads, just leading to more joy, bringing your whole self. So those were all themes for us. And talking towards the end about being maybe perhaps more intentional about using music and the arts as a multi-dimensional experience even in our field, in the connection field. That's been happening, but we could actually be more intentional about utilizing that or bringing that forth. I'm complete.
Beautiful. Love these themes. Anything else? 1 minute. Henry.
Something that for me, and I think for our group summarized it, was the Rumi quote of "Let the beauty of what you love be what you do." And I'm just connecting actually that to the child spirit who brings that in. There are 100 ways to kneel and kiss the earth, that it's bringing up what feeds us and what brings us joy to our sharings, to our connections in the connection field. I'm complete.
Beautiful. Is there any urgent last word? Because we're going to wrap here, and I'm going to, yes, Shelley.
I know there's something I need to say. Almost I just went, boom. I just really enjoyed that. And I think what came to me in the beginning was transcribers of delight. That's really what we are in some way. And but also being in the crucible of consciousness, that it's not always delight, and we're seeing the whole. So we're seeing and being amidst those energies that are refusing or resisting the delight, and how that feels to us. And everyone has a spot in themselves that has had that experience. So in holding the whole, that's what we're doing, and we're holding that specifically in the connection field, right? And especially, and then go deeper into the resonance lounge, where that is going to show up. It has to. There's no way it's going to show up. So anyway, I just want to thank everyone. And I know I had one other thing, which it is beyond me right now. Yeah. Thank you.
I encourage you to respond to Shelley if you feel called to be one of that team, one on the team. And I encourage you to hop over to the Resonance Lounge if you have a moment today. They're already playing and laughing, and like they're in full delight right now. They're just totally over there playing and smiling and laughing, and so they're having a good time. So John must have carried it right over there to David and Karin, and there they are. So thank you all so much for all that you do and be, mostly what you be, but thank you for allowing your doing to be an expression of your being. And Shelley looks like she wants to say one more thing.
I do, actually. So just to let everyone know, if you haven't stepped into the women's circle, it's that women's circle is unbelievable, held by Joan Henry, who's a earth singer, musician, and part of the Four Worlds International Institute. And also Julie, tonight, the Healing Field. And then Marcel Little, I think, will be after that. But what do we want to tell people about that right now? We got to make a decision.
Oriana, you expressed that you wanted to do tonight.
I can, because I do my empaths tonight, so I can just shift over and send
them over to that spot. Okay.
Yeah, if you prefer to do that. So either way, whatever works for you.
Okay, well, let's do that. It won't be advertised, but you'll have your group moving over, and then all those that want to come into the healing field. So Oriana, just make sure that you're expressing that from the beginning, that we've transitioned that hour, because it's not out in the digest yet.
I'll send it out into Facebook land, and the women's circle starts at 5 p.m. Eastern.
And then we do have an offering at 9:30 right after that, Oriana, too.
Yeah, I got that. And I also saw there's a half hour between the women's circle, and I'd like to actually move up to interface.
No, actually you can't. We can. I'll call you back.
Okay.
There is that. Yeah. So anyway, with that transition, inviting us to kind of flow easily into your day. Pass it over to Julie, but just allow. Sometimes these transitions happen very quickly, and we breathe with them, right? And we move with them, and it may not be yours to be part of. So that's totally okay. And love you all. Thank you so much for showing up. And if you need me specifically, you can reach me at shelley@goodofthewhole.org. And I'll be here to help be that transcriber of delight to help you move into whatever next phase. And Kate's like madly raising her hand. I don't know why.
Oh, she had to leave. She was saying goodbye. Just Kate left.
Okay.
Can I
Julie, go ahead.
can I ask if the healing field is canceled or moved to another time?
I'm going to be working on the Global Transition Team education component that we'll be offering for Mentoring Stewards coming real soon. Okay. And so
it's going to be a healing field called the Pool of Wonder. So we're transitioning from Julie leading it to me doing an in-depth dive into the field and feeling the field. And
okay.
Yeah. Thank you for asking, Ken. And I'll miss you. Our time.
Julie,
and is the women's group, do you need to be there for the whole time, or is that a pop in and out? Because
I would say stay a little bit longer than a pop in.
Yeah.
But but
because it looks like it's 5 to 7:30. It's a long one.
It's long, but it's wonderful.
It goes longer too.
Yeah. I know. It's just. Yep.
Okay. Love you, Anita. I'll be talking to you, and let's just end with like a moment of. Let's just all take a breath together. And Julie, I would suggest you get on that healing field just even for 5 or 10 minutes to help make that transition.
Okay,
or one of us, we should be on there. Yeah. Okay, let's take a breath in gratitude and love, just simply for the field, the intelligence, the wisdom of the field. itself. That in this beauty of expressing our wisdom, we're conductors of reciprocity, and we receive back that which we give in so many more ways. We just feel that gratitude together. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful building of this rainbow bridge of coherence in ways that we can't imagine.
I like that.
Wow.
Bye, everyone.
And the replay will be in the Mentoring Stewards Facebook page. Good of the Whole Mentoring Stewards Facebook page.
Facebook group. Facebook group.
Thanks for us
sorry,
sometime
Facebook
today.
group.
Thanks for us to getting know each other better in small groups.
Yeah, I like that.
Bye-bye.